Fan of the Hodaki Big Show podcast? Make sure you check out more from Jace, Mike and Keezy on their Instagram at Hodaki Big Show, or tune in to them 4 to 7 every weekday on Radio Hodaki. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, guys.
G'day, fellas.
Hi.
You sounded like the Count then.
Yeah, off Sesame Street.
Sesame Street.
Mogi's one.
No, my...
No, the Count.
One pastry.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How's your time off, Jace, you lucky bastard?
Hey?
Off jet
You look
setting
well
around,
rested.
Off hobnobbing.
Were you hobnobbing?
He was knobbing heaps of hobs.
Really?
It was so good, man.
He was knobbing the shit out of some hobs.
Did you hob any knobs?
He was hobbing.
I was hobnobbing like you wouldn't believe, Keezy. It was great, thanks,
Hobbit
fellas.
knobbing.
I had a really relaxing,
Good.
enjoyable
You've earned it, man.
3 days off.
Yeah.
Did you grip any screens and give them a good creasing? This way?
I had one panic attack, but
good.
that was because someone shouted at me in the hospital ward.
Right.
Shouted out as I was walking along, about to go into a room. Hoity J! In a hospital ward. And without a lie, I'm not lying
that's
here.
great,
I
man.
got mistaken as a doctor 3 times. So I was thinking to myself,
Because of non-doctors.
No, but seriously, people thought I was a doctor.
Right.
And I
A
must have
doctor
been.
of what?
A medical doctor.
No.
Because
Dressed like that?
No, not dressed like this.
Maybe a saw doctor.
Because I had my sort of cool sneakers on
Oh,
and
that'll
a sort
be
of
it.
businessy shirt and stuff, which is kind of how they dress.
Were you holding a clipboard?
No, and I didn't have a stethoscope or anything like that.
They must have admitted a few nutters, did they?
Oh, there were nutters in there. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Always is. But no, it was a very restful, very calming situation that I was
But
in.
it's all doing the right thing, Jace. Good on you, mate.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
How was yesterday for you, Mike?
It
All
was
goods?
good. The wife had 3 wisdom teeth out. She can't have the other one out because it's too close to a nerve, which is the same thing. I think it's the same thing that happened to me.
Right.
But she got put under general anaesthetic.
Yeah.
General anaesthetic.
General Electric.
And then took her home, but one of her right jaw, lower jaw, is blown up a bit.
Yeah.
That was one of the ones that they sort of had to smash out a little bit more. They give you your teeth back.
Yeah, it's weird, eh?
I think she had the option and sort of panicked in the moment and said yes, but she's not good when she sees things like that, like
Still got
teeth
a bit of
with
red on it.
flesh all over it and shit.
Lucy's still got hers.
And then the trouble is, then when you get them, it's kind of like when you go to somebody's funeral and they give you the thing, you know, the book, the in memoriam thing, and it's got the hymns and it's got the layout of everything that'll go on.
Who's talking?
It's
and all
critical
that, shit.
that you leave it
There.
at the church.
Yes.
Because if you take it home, it's a very difficult thing, I find, to throw out. I've got a real mental thing about, it seems like, I don't know if I should be throwing this out.
We've had this discussion
it's
before.
sacred. Have
Well, similar kind of thing. My wife's the same.
Right, but you're not.
But no, I'm not at all. Chuck it, I say.
Okay,
Chuck
good.
it. But yeah, just on the teeth thing, it's interesting, isn't it? Because they give you options. You know, you can just get locals and stuff like that, or there's some pretty hardcore drugs they can give you without knocking you out.
That's right.
As well, it's a incredibly brutal thing to get a tooth out. I found because I just had a local, and they're wrenching and jagging
It sounds
away.
terrible,
It's
eh?
like,
Yeah.
and you're just going, "Oh."
Having your head react all over the place. And I think
Yes.
that's what gives you the swelling. It's sort of, I mean, you've been attacked with all sorts of bloody things. I had the drug. It's a date rape drug, but it was given intravenously. I think it was Rohypnol, or maybe it was something else, but it was a liquid form.
Yes.
And it was, it's quite the drug. Quite the drug.
Yeah, well, I've heard all sorts of stories about that. And after, when I told my stabbing story...
I tell you what, the stories must have been vague.
Well, the thing is, when I came out, I remember coming out from the operation and I was saying some shit because of the meds that I was on, and all the nurses were cracking up. So I was a little bit paranoid about taking the drug option.
Right.
In case of what, I might say something really weird.
We're
or
like,
offensive.
g'day, you mad bastards.
G'day, you mad bastards, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I had it, and then I can remember Zara turning up to pick me up. Then I remember being in the car outside the pharmacy. So Zara had driven us. We'd gone to the pharmacy to pick up my prescription, and then the next thing I knew, I was sitting in front of a TV at home. And
Nice.
so
Maybe the
that's
movement
pretty fucking out
was
of it.
too full on for your brain to handle, so it just like shut
No, but
down.
I also couldn't remember anything from when I sat in the chair at the dentist and
Oh,
they shot
wow.
me up. So I don't remember any of
like the build up to it.
anything that happened. No, I remember them putting the drug into my arm, and they said count down from 5 or whatever, and I was out.
I remember.
And then,
yes.
but nothing. So it's pretty fucking unreal.
Yeah. I remember doing a similar thing with 3/4 of a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. It was
like-
less scientific.
And then I was there, and then suddenly I was there.
The Hodaki Big Show with Jason Hoyt, Mike Minogue, and Keezy. The Hodaki Big Show, weekdays at 4 on Radio Hodaki.
I had that. I had a really good one of those. Probably the only time that I really blacked out without passing out. Because normally I think you black out, then you go about your business, and then you go home and you go to bed.
Yes.
Keezy doesn't know what I'm talking about, but you do.
Yes, I do.
I'm just trying to figure out the difference between blacking out and passing out. I thought they were the same.
No, they're
No,
not. So
not
what
at all.
happens is
Right.
you continue going around to the party, you're still operating,
But you don't
but
remember.
your,
Right,
your
yeah.
hard drive is no longer registering any of these memories.
Yeah, right.
So you're still there, but you will have no recollection of
Right,
it.
okay.
And there's a phrase for that, which is the lights are on, but nobody's home.
Right.
That's
I see.
right.
Um,
Normally attributed to a thicket.
Yes.
But I had one once when I was over in Sydney. It'd been quite a day, and
A busy day?
I timed it. was
It's been a
very
busy day, darling.
and I had a few things to keep me on my feet. But I sort of timed out at about 7 p.m. We'd started drinking at 9 in the morning. We picked up a mate from the airport. He just got back from Europe, and drank all day. 7 o'clock, I blacked out. Then when I came to, I was just walking. It was like the lights came back on. Walking down the middle of a street in Bondi, or somewhere in Eastern Sydney, middle of the street. And then I just walked, and I just slowed down and looked around and was just like, what the fuck? And that was at 2 o'clock in the morning. So I'd lost 7 hours.
Wow.
And that was what led me to stop drinking in my 20s for 3.5 years.
Yes.
Because I could have been accused of doing anything.
And
Yeah.
And
you
I
wouldn't
had
know.
I would have no defence for it whatsoever, and it terrified me.
The other thing too about that is starting so early and then hitting that sort of blackout phase at 7 is people are out having dinner and stuff. It's one thing being wasted at like midnight onwards.
Yeah.
It's another thing like while the sun's kind of still up. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah. Yeah.
I can't say, I mean, it's never happened to me, but
Bullshit.
but yeah.
Did I tell you about when I think I told it recently about my wife getting her wisdoms out and she was doing an experimental drug test thing down at the medical school in Dunedin? And it was because she was a student at the time, it was a cheaper way of doing it. And they just had to treat her with these different painkillers, and then she'd write down how she felt. It was part of like what's it called, a case study or something.
Crazy
My
shit.
God.
But then they
Were they
gave
paying you to do that?
no, it's just like instead of costing thousands to do it, it was like $400.
Oh, right. Yes, I remember. Yes.
Yeah.
Instead of
Yeah.
free.
And
Yeah.
then they gave her the what's it called, the general anesthetic or whatever, and then we're about to start operating on her, and then she just goes, "How's it all going in there, guys?" And they freaked out and like, quick, get put it back on her.
Yeah.
Like she thought it was normal that she was able to just like talk to them while they were doing this.
My daughter did the same thing twice under general.
Right.
But
Sat up.
sat bolt upright.
That's right, yeah.
Then everyone just goes, ah!
Yeah, that's scary.
Really scary shit.
I only remember getting the mask and the laughing gas or whatever when I was about 6 and I got my adenoids out. I just remember them telling me to count down from 100.
100 is a lot.
I got
Yeah.
into like the 70s.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and I was like, this is easy.
I had to do a countdown for my circumcision.
Oh, yeah.
To be honest with you,
10
I mean, I've only
inches.
had a few
9
operations in my life. I don't like to be put under. I like to know what's going on.
I
But
feel
you
like,
still don't know what's going on.
So I say, just give me a bit of leather and I'll just chomp on that.
but Jace, you don't even go get a what's it called, a blood pressure test, let alone be
You're
put
too
under.
scared to have a
and
blood
I
pressure test.
just chew on the leather, you know, and it's
Sure
good
you
because
do.
you've got it, all your
Have you got
wits
that
about
Academy
you.
Awards music there, man?
Like that? No, I don't actually. Like Master and Commander, you know, and the little kid, has to bite down and get his arm cut off.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Well, when they used to do amputations back in the day, that's what they did. You know, you'd chew on a bit of wood or something,
Put some
Yeah.
whiskey
and
in.
then they'd get the saw out.
Then wouldn't they burn the
It is
flesh?
an amazing thing. I was talking to Zara about it yesterday. It is an incredible thing that anesthetic. My God. And to get to a point where you can go, okay, this is what the person's weight is, so we know how much of this we need. You get a guy that's getting paid $600,000 a year to do that. He gets a bit more. Before that, it was just, well,
Drink
you're going to rip
this.
these out of your fucking head one way or the other. Hopefully you don't bleed to death.
Yeah.
The other thing too is antibiotics.
And
man.
not that long ago, a couple hundred years.
Antibiotics. Like, I've had so many infections where I probably would have died by now easily.
Sif.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Syphilis.
totally.
As a kid, heaps of infections, not Sif.
Have you guys ever read the book A Million Little Pieces?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you wouldn't have.
Nah, I
Keezy.
haven't even
What
heard
a
of it.
fucking great book.
Amazing book. But
And
he
My
did
Friend
that.
is Leonard is a sequel to it, and it's brilliant as well.
Yeah, I enjoyed that as well. Amazing book. Since turns out that a lot of it wasn't true. But anyway, he did that because he was an addict. He refused, because he had to get his teeth repaired.
That's right,
He
yeah.
refused any medication. So he did it. He did it naked, Keezy.
Jesus.
And the nutty. Really interesting story, that, wasn't it? So that guy just
Very.
wrote that book. He said it was an autobiography. Just another guy writing a book, thinking nobody's going to read it. Then Oprah Winfrey reads it. He goes on the Oprah Winfrey show. It sells millions and millions.
Wow.
He was an overnight huge sensation. And then the Smoking Gun website does an investigation going, some of the stuff doesn't seem likely.
Yeah, it doesn't add
And
up.
it turns out he made up probably half of it.
Right.
But fucking great
Still
read.
a great read.
Beautifully written novel.
Imagine
Great
going on
book.
like TV or radio and making a whole lot of shit up like that. You know,
I
what I mean?
you
People
get
would find
found
out. Yeah.
so quick.
And I think the thing about it, Mogi, yes, there was outrage, but I think it was so good at capturing the addict kind of mentality that a lot of people went, I don't care that some of it's
Whether
bullshit.
it's based on a true story or not, who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is good. Hey, thanks for listening. Have a good Easter. When you're back on Tuesday, make sure you listen to the Hodaki Big Show 4 to 7 weekdays on Radio Hodaki, and also follow our page on Instagram, Hodaki Big Show.
Thanks, mate.
Okay.